80 years ago, on August 14th, 1945, the Kyujo incident, an attempted military coup d'etat in the Empire of Japan, occurred in the end of World War II. Just before Japan announced its surrender to the Allies, members of the Ministry of War's Staff Office and elements of the Imperial Guard staged a coup attempt to prevent the capitulation. The conspirators murdered Lieutenant General Takeshi Mori, commander of the 1st Imperial Guards Division, and forged an order authorizing their occupation of the Tokyo Imperial Palace. They sought to place Emperor Hirohito under house arrest with the help of the 2nd Brigade of the Imperial Guard Infantry. However, they failed to gain the support of the Eastern District Army and the Imperial Japanese Army's High Command. Unable to rally the remaining forces to overthrow the imperial household, the conspirators committed suicide and the surrender announcement proceeded as planned. The coup was led by Major Kenji Hatanaka. After he committed suicide, a death poem was found in his pocket. It reads, "I have nothing to regret now that the dark clouds have disappeared from the reign of the emperor." On the same day, the photograph VJ Day in Times Square was taken by Alfred Eisenstadt. It portrays a U.S. Navy sailor kissing a total stranger after grabbing her, a dental assistant, on Victory over Japan Day in New York City's Times Square. A week later, Life magazine published the photograph in a 12-page Victory Celebrations feature, showcasing images of festivities across the United States. One 2-page spread displayed a montage of 3 similar celebration scenes from Washington, D.C., Kansas City, and Miami on the left, opposite the Eisenstadt photograph, which occupied a full page on the right. Eisenstadt captured the image during a spontaneous moment in Times Square amid heightened public anticipation for U.S. President Harry S. Truman's upcoming 7 p.m. announcement of Japan's surrender. He later explained that he could not obtain the names or details of those in the picture, as he was documenting rapidly unfolding events. The faces of the pair are not visible, and many have since claimed to be the subjects. The shot was taken just south of 45th Street, looking north at the point where Broadway and 7th Avenue meet. Based on research by Donald W. Olson and his team, the photograph was likely taken at 5:51 p.m. Eastern Time. Life magazine's archives note that Eisenstadt used a Leica 3 camera for the image. And 20 years ago, on August 14, 2005, Helios Airways Flight 522, a Boeing 737-31S nicknamed Olympia, flying from Larnaca, Cyprus to Prague, Czech Republic with a stopover in Athens, Greece, crashed near Grammatico, Greece after Nicosia Air Traffic Control lost contact with the pilots operating the flight. The crash killed all 121 passengers and crew on board, making it the deadliest aviation incident in Greek history. There were 6 crew members and the passengers, 67 of whom were scheduled to disembark in Athens, with the rest continuing to Prague. The flight was commanded by 59-year-old Captain Hans-Jürgen Merten, a German contract pilot employed by Helios for holiday routes. A former East German with 35 years of flight experience, he had previously flown for the East German airline Interflug from 1970 to 91. Amassing 16,900 total flight hours with 5,500 on the Boeing 737. A few months earlier, Captain Merton had been dismissed by a British airline for repeatedly failing to follow standard operating procedures. Helios Airways was not informed of this, nor were his reference ever requested. He was described as being overconfident. The first officer was 51-year-old Pampos Charlalambous, a Cypriot pilot who had worked solely for Helios over the past 5 years. He had logged 7,549 career flight hours, 3,991 of them on the Boeing 737. The first officer had a record of rushing through checklists, and to make matters worse, he and the captain didn't get along. The chief flight attendant for the flight was 32-year-old Louisa Vuteri, a Greek national living in Cyprus, who was filling in for a colleague who had called in sick. She was making plans for her marriage the next month. Also on board was 25-year-old flight attendant from Cyprus, Andreas Prodromou. He wasn't supposed to be working that day, but he took the flight to spend some time with his Greek girlfriend, Hera Charlalambous, who also works for Helios. Andreas had studied in the United Kingdom for his pilot's license and was a keen scuba diver. His parents felt he was overqualified for the job, but he decided to work as a cabin crew member whilst training for his dream job as a pilot. Andreas and Harris were planning to get married. Also note, Harris is not related to the first officer or the 4 passengers on board who have the same name, Charlalambous. The 4 passengers who have the last name were Nikos, his wife Andri, his daughter Konstantina, and his mother Kola. Anyways, moving on. Greece's Air Accident Investigation and Aviation Safety Board determined that the crash occurred because the flight crew failed to notice the cabin pressurization system was set to manual during takeoff checks. A ground engineer had allegedly switched it to manual before the flight for testing purposes, but forgot to return it to auto. The oversight went unnoticed by the crew during their pre-flight inspection. As the aircraft climbed, the incorrect setting caused a gradual loss of cabin pressure, leading to severe hypoxia for everyone on board and ultimately turning the flight into a so-called ghost flight. The accident's negligent circumstances prompted lawsuits against both Helios Airways and Boeing. The following year, the government of Cyprus shut down Helios Airways entirely. A total of 118 bodies were recovered. Among the passengers were 93 adults and 22 children. There were 107 Cypriots, 13 Greeks, and 1 German who is the captain. Well, that's all I have for today. This is my first YouTube video after I left home. Even though I am in home right now, but this video was uploaded on August 14th, which is today, and I'm already on the road for college. This will be my senior and last year at college. Those who love the video, leave a comment down below and subscribe. This is Stephen Luke, and I'll see you next time for another history update. And those who are from Cyprus and Greece, never forget Helios 522. God bless them.